وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين واشهد ان لا اله الا الله وحده لا شريك له واشهد ان محمدا صلى الله عليه وسلم صلوا عليه. اشهد ان محمدا صلى الله عليه وسلم عبده ورسوله سلام ورحمه ورحمه للعالمين. Today inshallah we'll talk about ways of thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the great ni'am we have. And last night we spoke about 3 humbling experiences. If you feel important, or if you feel your heart is hardened and you think highly of yourself, then there are 3 situations you need to look at. The first one, whenever you see janazah, make sure inshallah you go with them to the graveyard for the burial and see what becomes of the human being at the end of their life. If someone is sick at the hospital, especially at the intensive care unit, go and see how they look like and how much they suffer. And also, the third one, if you have the chance, you can volunteer and go to prison and see how people suffer over there. I'm not saying they're abused or anything, just the fact that they don't have their freedom. They cannot go out, they cannot enjoy their families or do all the things they like to do. These 3 experiences will humble you: the janazah, the hospital, and the prison. Today inshallah we'll look at ways of how to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the great ni'am we have. Yesterday we spoke, or actually last night we spoke about the ni'mah of Islam and the ni'mah of ibadah, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides you to worship Him. Then the ni'mah of the family, the ni'mah of the job, the ni'mah of the house, the ni'mah of the car. And every time you remember any of these ni'am, just remember all the people who are moneyless, the people who are jobless, the people who are carless, the people who are childless, the people who are wifeless or husbandless, and all these lessons, right? And make sajda right away and say alhamdulillah for all these great ni'am, right? You have always to keep in your mind when you thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you cannot thank Him enough. You cannot thank Him enough, right? And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about ni'mah in the Quran, He says, في Surah Ibrahim or في Surah Al-Nahl, if you try to count the ni'mah of Allah, just one ni'mah, or the implications of one ni'mah, you cannot number the benefits of this one ni'mah. So now imagine if you close your eyes, right? And you try to make it home, you can't. If you are in your bedroom, you want to make it to the living room or the bathroom, you can't. You cannot go to school and study like normal people or the way things should be done. Your life will become basically difficult, right? It's hard to find a job in this way. Your life will become difficult. Yes, Allah will reward you for your patience, but your life will become difficult. And in this case, you appreciate the people who have the ni'mah, right? Because once a ni'mah is taken away from you, now you say, now you see I don't have it anymore, and you start to regret. So be grateful before it is taken away from you. The Prophet ﷺ used to say in his dua after salah, Allahumma a'inni ala dhikrika wa shukrika wa husni ibadatik. Ya Allah, help me to worship you and remember you and thank you in the way you deserve. Because I myself cannot thank you or worship you enough, because I have to get help from you. وفي الحديث أنت كما أثنيت على نفسك. Ya Allah, I cannot thank you enough, so thank yourself on my behalf, because I cannot thank you enough. So this should be your attitude. Of course, the easiest way to thank Allah for the ni'mah is to say Alhamdulillah, right? Alhamdulillah. And this is one of the best ways to thank Allah, right? The Prophet ﷺ says in the hadith, إن الله تعالى لا يرضى من العبد أن يأكل الأكلة فيحمده عليها ويشرب الشربة فيحمده عليها. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pleased. He's pleased with you every time you eat something and you say Alhamdulillah for the food, Alhamdulillah for the biryani, Alhamdulillah for the banana, Alhamdulillah for the fruit. When you drink, you say Alhamdulillah for the water, Alhamdulillah for the juice. Allah is pleased with you, He's happy with you. So saying Alhamdulillah is a good thing. But there are other practical ways to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and one of them is ibadah. You know the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ when he used to stand at night like you in Taraweeh and Tahajjud, Salatul Qiyam in general, until his feet were swollen, and his wife would say, Ya Rasulullah, you don't have to do all of this, you don't have sins, right? Everything is forgiven. He would say, أَفَلَا أَكُونُ عَابِدًا شَكُورًا. Should I not be thankful to Allah? So his salah was a way of saying thank you to Allah. In the other hadith, the Prophet ﷺ says, every morning you have to pay sadaqah for every joint in your body. The 300 more or less, you have to give sadaqah for every joint to thank Allah for these joints and making you healthy. And he said, you say subhanallah, you make takbir basically. And he said, if you want to thank Allah for all these joints of your body, pray 2 rak'ah for duha. This will take care of everything. So ibadah is a way of saying thank you to Allah. So when you fast in Ramadan, this is your way of saying thank you Allah for the health. When you pray, this is your way of saying, Ya Allah, thank you for the ni'mah of time. When you give the zakat, this is your way of saying thank you, Ya Allah, for the ni'mah of money, and so on and so forth. This is the way you should look at it. Also, another way is to help those who are less fortunate, right? When you see people who don't have money, the homeless, the people who are suffering, if you help them out, this is also another way of saying thank you, Ya Allah. Because your Allah is helping you, He's taking care of you, and you are taking care of His khalq, His ayat, the people who are dependent on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I like this statement. I always like to repeat this statement because it's one of my favorite statements. Imam Ja'far وكان من آل البيت رضي الله عنهم أجمعين. So يعني قال له بعض الناس إنك تكثر من الصدقة والإحسان على الفقراء. عمال كل ما يجي لك فلوس عمال تتصدق وتزكي وكذا. فقال والله إني عودت الله بعادة وعودني بعادة. عودني أن يتفضل علي وعودته أن أتفضل على خلقه. فأخاف إن قطعت فضلي عن الناس أن يقطع فضله عني. So Imam Ja'far, may Allah be pleased with him, and Ahl al-Bayt Ajma'een, someone questioned him. He said, okay, every time you have money, you always give to the poor, to the homeless, to the needy. Why is that? You are wasting your money. He said, I have a habit with Allah and Allah has a habit with me. His habit with me is to be generous with me. And my habit with Him is to be generous with the people. I'm afraid if I stop my habit with Him, He will stop His habit with me. So whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you, we'll try to give some to the people. We'll stop now, inshallah. We'll try to continue some other time, inshallah. The question for last night